Among the many lives aboard the RMS Titanic, the stories of children stand out as some of the most emotional and deeply human. Subscribe because they represent a perspective that is both innocent and powerful, a way of experiencing events that is shaped not by full understanding, but by curiosity, trust, and the simple desire to feel safe and close to those they love, making their presence on the Titanic an important part of its story. For many children, the journey aboard the Titanic began as something exciting, something new and different from their everyday lives. The ship itself, with its large spaces, bright lights, and constant activity, felt almost like a world of its own, a place where there was always something to see and explore. For a child, this environment could feel magical, filled with possibilities and small moments of wonder. Traveling with their families, children experienced the voyage in a way that was closely tied to the people around them. Their sense of security came from their parents, siblings, or guardians, and as long as those connections were strong, the journey felt safe and comfortable. This reliance on others shaped how they responded to the events that unfolded later. As the days passed, children became familiar with the routines of life on the ship. They played, they explored, and they adapted to their surroundings in ways that reflected their age and personality. These moments, simple and ordinary, became part of the memories that would later define their experience, even if they did not fully understand the significance of where they were. When the situation began to change, and the reality of danger slowly emerged, children were often among the last to fully grasp what was happening. They depended on the reactions of adults to guide their own understanding, looking for signs of fear or reassurance. In many cases, efforts were made to keep them calm, to protect them from the full weight of the situation. This created a contrast between perception and reality, where children might have sensed that something was different, but did not fully understand the seriousness of it. The calm behavior of adults, even if it was controlled or temporary, helped to maintain a sense of normalcy for as long as possible. The process of evacuation introduced a new set of challenges, as decisions had to be made quickly, often under pressure. For children, these decisions were not their own. They were guided by others, carried, led, or instructed on what to do. Their experience during this time was shaped by trust, by the belief that those around them would keep them safe. Some children were placed into lifeboats, becoming part of the group that would survive the disaster. For them, the journey continued in a different form, one that involved uncertainty and waiting, as they moved away from the ship and into a situation that was still difficult to understand. Others were not as fortunate, and their stories became part of the larger narrative of loss that defines the Titanic's history. These stories are often incomplete, known only through fragments of information, yet they carry a weight that is deeply felt, reminding us of the human cost of the event. What makes the stories of children so significant is not just what happened to them, but how they experienced it. Their perspective adds a layer of emotion and meaning that goes beyond facts and timelines, offering insight into the human side of the tragedy. Looking back, these stories have been preserved through records, accounts, and memories, allowing us to connect with the past in a way that feels personal and real. They remind us that history is not just about events, but about the people who lived through them, each with their own experiences and emotions. More than a century later, the stories of children on the Titanic continue to resonate, serving as a reminder of the importance of compassion, understanding, and the value of every individual life. In the end, the children who are on the Titanic represent a powerful part of its legacy, a reminder that even in the midst of one of history's most famous events, there are moments of innocence, trust, and human connection that continue to be remembered and honored. Their stories, whether fully known or only partially understood, remain an essential part of the Titanic's story, adding depth, emotion, and meaning to an event that continues to capture the attention of the world.